What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Philip back with Thrifty PS Gamer Reviews. This will be my second installment this month of Pass or Play, and we will be going over a game that I never thought in a million years I would play. It is Man of Medan. It is done by Supermassive Games, published by Bandai Namco. Let's start off with a little back history. I hate horror games. I hate suspense games. I don't like them at all. My thing is more a psychological thriller. I do not like horror games. Resident Evil 7, 6, 8, I've never touched them. So when this one said adventure horror game, I kind of got a little taken aback, and I didn't really want to play it. And I will tell you, I am so glad that I did. Let's get into the review. Man of Medan. This game was released back in 2019, so it's 3 years old now. Not too terrible. It is part of the Dark Picture Anthology. I have no idea what the heck that is, or what it was, or any other thing about it. That's what I know. And I know that because it says so in the title. I'm going to start off with something that I don't usually start off with, but it was quite literally the most impressive aspect of the entire game. And that is the sound. The sound in this game, between the musical score in the background, the ambient noises of the ship that you're on, or one of the ships you're on, of the water around you, of how everything just makes these creaks and drip sounds, and oh my god, they did such a good job of putting you into the scene, and I thoroughly appreciate that. The sound is impeccable. Any game in the world needs this kind of sound quality. It's awesome. The next thing I'm going to go over is the story, because the story is really kind of what has drawn me in, which apparently for these kind of games, this is kind of in the vein of Heavy Rain or Detroit Become Human. These kind of games, if you played those, are really heavy story driven. The story needs to be what keeps the player entertained. And this game does a fantastic job of it. A brief synopsis on the story. You start out in a World War II vessel. You are taking control of a soldier on that vessel, and that soldier gets drunk, gets into a fight with his buddy. The captain on the ship decks him and puts them, or their CO, somebody of higher rank than them, decks your character. You wake up to a ton of screaming, and then you're kind of off. Once you get done with that scene, it takes you to this guy's kind of mansion, and he starts inviting you to play along with a story that you control the destiny of the character. So kind of like he's going to read you your own, like read you one of those old choose your own narrative adventures. And in the stories that he's telling, you play as Brad, Fliss, Julia, Conrad, and Alex. Those are the main characters that you play as. I have not played as a single other character, and I'm over halfway through the entire game. Alex and Julia are boyfriend and girlfriend when they start out. Conrad is Julia's brother, and Brad is Alex's brother. Fliss is the captain of the vessel that you're going to be on. So, really interesting story, really interesting characters. The characters are actually real-life actors and actresses, and Sean Ashmore, I believe, is in it. And it's either Sean Ashton or Sean Ashmore. Anyways, he's in it. He plays the mom's brother in Lock and Key. And so as soon as I saw that he was in it, I was like, oh, this is great. I love it, because I really like him as an actor. Forewarned, there are jump scares. There are things that have made me kind of jump or jerk on my couch. I don't like those things. I don't even like loud, abrupt noises. It's part of my ADHD. I just don't like it. But this game does them frequently and with purpose. So it's not just making you do a jump scare for the sake of a jump scare. Everything is meant to further along the story. And I truly appreciate that. Oh, the other part of the story. Why all of y'all are on a boat in the first place. You are going to a location of an old, sunken World War II ship that Brad, Alex's younger brother, did some calculations on where it would have went down. Nobody's ever discovered it, and he figured out the coordinates. And so it's super awesome. Let's get into gameplay mechanics. It has not a lot, but it definitely has a few quick time events where you got to press a button to dodge something, or press another button to hit, or repeatedly tap a button to open up a door, or push a table, or stuff like that. And they're not overused, so I like it. The other part of the gameplay that I really like is there are secrets and collectibles that actually feed into the story. And so really good in that aspect. I don't feel like I'm just searching for collectibles just to be searching. The other element of gameplay that I like is along the way you get these little items. And each item has a wheel that has to be kind of completed, right? It has to be completed. And as you complete the wheel, you start filling out the wedges on the wheel. And I'm guessing if you do everything just right, you can complete each one of these things. And so I really thought that was fun. It was a great mechanic to show that your choices do actually have consequences. While you play this, each one of your characters has different temperaments. They call them traits. So like when you start out, Brad is anxious, nervous, insecure, and one other thing. And like through your dialogue with these other characters and through the story playing out, those things will either get worse, get replaced by other things, or get better. I was able to turn a nervous into a confident through one of the characters on here, and I can't tell you how I did it because I don't want to spoil anything. One thing that I have done is the gameplay footage that you're watching, it is jumbled from the very beginning to the very end. I do not believe any two scenes that I have done go together one right after the other. And I did that because I don't want you to know what order everything happens in. This stuff is all across the board. It's so fun. It's really well done. And the gameplay is solid. It makes me want to keep coming back. So there are my positives. Let's talk about some of my negatives about the game. One, each character handles like they are walking with like wood, straight planks of wood on their legs and on their back, and it's just very, very stiff and rigid. And that's not really... It gets very annoying and frustrating when trying to walk through corridors or navigate through the ship, because every move you make could be the wrong move, and you have to double back and backtrack, and then the camera angles shift a lot, which I understand. It's a horror film that you're playing, so it does that to build suspense in certain areas, and I 100% get that. I 100% understand it, but that coupled with the jerky movement sometime and the real stiff movement of the characters is awful. I do not like it at all. It's several times made me like, dang, this game is janky. But then you'll get to a scene where they're talking to each other, and the game looks amazing. The character models look great. They have fallen into the same trap that other games do. They do not do the mouth and the teeth very well at all. It's not game-breaking by any stretch of the imagination. That is just one of the negatives. The hair is done dang near flawlessly. But the lips and the mouth and the syncing up of the audio, I'm not sure if they used motion capture for this. I'm guessing they did. But if they did, I'm wondering how some of these things got past post-production. So those are a couple of my negatives. The other negative is sometimes you're presented with two terrible options. Like, I understand that the game has consequences, but if I'm trying to play a character as very altruistic and make him kind of the hero of my story, it's a little difficult to do so. because sometimes both options you're left with, because you get two options and you get a third, which is just do nothing or say nothing. And so there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, well, if I say that, I'm a jerk, and if I say that, I'm a passive jerk. So, like, really, which one's better? And, of course, I picked the less offensive option for a couple of my characters. One of them I'm playing is just a straight rogue. He does whatever the crap he wants. And it's really fun. I like that aspect of it, that I get to kind of mold my characters. I just wish there were more dialogue options that actually fit with, hey, here's kind of a bad choice, here's kind of a good choice, and here you go. Instead of, hey, here's two bad choices, and one of them is just not going to get you killed. Overall, guys, I think this game, if you like horror games, even if you don't, guys, I hate them, and I can't put this thing down. Runtime on this thing, they said was 4.5 hours according to online sources, but I am about 8 hours in, and I think I'm only a little over halfway through. So I really want to know where they get that 4.5 hours from. I guess that's if you're not doing literally anything and just speed running through the entire thing. Outside of that, play the game. It's free. It's a 100% play. There's no caveat to it. I think that anybody who likes stories in games will absolutely fall in love with this game. It is accomplishing its goal of definitely making me wanting to go play the other ones inside the Dark Picture anthology. Because this game, even for its jankiness, is wonderful. Play this thing. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the video. And as always, guys, stay thrifty.